Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 994. We are getting there. It's Wednesday. This is one of those weeks where I'm forgetting what day it is. I wake up, I'm like, what day is it? Took me a while to remember it was Wednesday. I got out of the shower. I'm like, running late just because I think it's the weather. It's the weather. The weather's making me tired. The weather's making me sleep longer. I'm like, it's not the free for all. It's not Friday. It's Thursday. Oh, wait. Trash day. Trash is at the curb, though. Took the trash and recycling. So this is the important week. Trash and recycling at the curb. We got our garage finished finally. Last night, the workers were finishing up till like 8 o'clock, I think. The garage is almost finished. Just have to do some flooring. And the screened porch is painted. It's finally starting to be finished. I'll be able to park in the garage soon. I had about a solid week, 2 weeks of parking in the garage. I've been here for almost 3 months. So I'll get to park in the garage. Not yet. So watched a lot of baseball yesterday and last night. Watched more baseball than I anticipated, watching the entire postseason. And I was on a frickin' roll, shipping and listing and shipping and listing and shipping. Like all day and all night. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to power through. And it's funny. It's funny. We all say, well, if you list more, it triggers the algorithm. And I don't think it triggers the algorithm. And I've talked about this before. I don't think listing triggers anything within the algorithm more so than, yes, eBay's algorithm. We don't know what it rewards, but I don't think it's weighted that if you list more, you'll sell more. Because if you list a bunch of junk at high prices, it's not going to move, right? I noticed a huge uptick in sales last night and into this morning, into the overnight hours. But it's not, and I listed almost 1,000 new items in my store yesterday. And yeah, a lot of that did sell, but most of what sold where I saw that uptick was other stuff. I mean, somebody came in and bought a ton of Dodgers prospects and Bowman, and none of that was listed yesterday, maybe one or two things. And I think maybe the more followers you have to your eBay store, they get alerts when new stuff is added. It may not alert them. Maybe one thing out of 1,000 triggers them. Be like, hey, I want that. I wonder if I can get 6 more cards and get that 25% off. And then it sells some of the stale inventory. I haven't dove down into the actual transactions to see if that is the case. But that could be the case. Or just people see new stuff and it triggers them to do some shopping. So a big uptick in sales, and not necessarily on new items that were just added yesterday. So today is going to be heavy shipping day. I added all kinds of new stuff. I added. I've been neglecting football because I love baseball, and that's really what I buy. But we're going into the off season, and these next couple months are like the deadest times for baseball card sales on eBay. So got to get some football, and I'll put some basketball in eventually. But I love these. These are Fleer Retro. They made these in 2013. This is from the 91 Ultra design. Excuse me, frog in my throat. So I added some of that. I added some a bunch of Bears cards. I'm starting to blow out some of my football quarter boxes. Everything from him to him, Cole Kmet rookie. There's a Bernie Kosar in there, obviously not Bears, but I added some football singles. I even added Simpsons cards. These were in the latest Goodwill palette. There were a whole bunch of Simpsons cards from 1990 tops, and then there were I think it was ET. So I had to do some type. In fact, the Fleer Retro was not. It was weird. Car Dealer Pro recognized like 3 or 4 of the singles. I recognized Denard Robinson and then a couple others, but out of the 75, 80 that I listed, only 4 or 5 were recognized. But the 4 or 5 that were recognized were entirely correct, completely accurate. So that was kind of a weird. I don't know if it was a glitch, if I would have resubmitted, if that would have triggered it to work. I just typed it out. It's easy within Car Dealer Pro. I export everything to a spreadsheet, work out of the spreadsheet, so I can just copy and paste everything that I need. And I'm a pretty fast typer, so I can get it done fairly reasonable. Do I want to do that? No, but it doesn't hurt. So a lot of new stuff added to the eBay store yesterday and last night. We'll talk a little baseball playoffs. We've got George in the house. I saw George's beard. Holy shit, George. That's quite the beard. George has a big beard. Harlan in the house. What's going on? Red Light 34. Good morning to you. He says I'm always late. I have been. Good thing he's not on a point system. I know. I have been late a lot this week. The last couple of weeks, I think I can't blame the coffee maker. I can't blame the computer. The computer fires right up. The coffee maker's working. It's me. I'm the problem. I'm just not getting out of bed on time. Everyone hit the like button. Thank you, sir. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Maddie Ice Cards, good morning to you. We've got Shane Koopmans here. What's happening? Mark Marinello, good morning. He's on a mini vacation. Perfect day off. Watching playoff baseball from 3 to 11 p.m. Doing it again today. What is the schedule for playoff baseball today? It was kind of nice because I did a lot of my shipping in the morning. Where are we at? Today is Wednesday. Oh, we got 2 o'clock baseball again. Okay, so 3 o'clock where Mark's at. 2 o'clock for me. Rangers and Rays again. We've got the Blue Jays and Twins at 3:38, 6:08. So it looks like the same exact schedule as what we saw yesterday. Rangers and Rays start things off, followed by Blue Jays, Twins, Diamondbacks, and Brewers at 6, and at 7, Marlins, Phillies. So very cool. Probably watch some more baseball today. We'll see what my schedule is, what I decide to do with my schedule. Dan, what's happening? Good evening to you. Victor's in the house. Good morning. Donald Davis is here. What's up? Good morning. Uncle Rich is here. He knows that I know the spiel. Yes. Zach and Porter, what's up? Uncle Rich, we have an acceptable like percentage right now, but let's get to Luis Arise territory. And sub if you like this, especially as we approach episode 1000 is next Tuesday. So we're 6 days away. This is episode 994. Episode 1000, what are we doing? Nothing really special. The only thing special is I'm going to throw the link and anybody can hop on for episode 1000 part A, which will be next Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. Central. And then we'll run it back. I know there's a lot of replay viewers, so we'll do a live episode at 7 p.m. next Tuesday, episode 1000 and 1000 part 2. We're not going to name the 7 p.m. episode 1001 because it's not part of the 7 a.m., right? Although I think I've done a couple evenings where I have done it in numerical order. So there'll be an asterisk next to our number. But next Tuesday, the episode 1000 extravaganza. Speaking of podcasts, I was on a podcast last night. Pretty cool. Vincent and John are the hosts. It's called One Cardinal, One Cub, One Beer. I'm gonna have to tune in. I'm gonna Google that right now. I don't know when it's gonna be released because it was recorded. We recorded One Cardinal, One Cub, One Beer. These guys are from, I believe, the St. Louis area. I know I know Vincent is. Oh, looks like they are on YouTube. So check them out on YouTube. Let's. Here, I don't want to. Okay. So here's the link to the One Cardinal, One Cub, One Beer. One Cardinal, One Cub, One Beer podcast. This is just to get to their channel. Actually, you know what I can probably do? Let's get their sub count up. They're only at 46 subscribers on YouTube. Now they're at 47. So go ahead and give them a subscription, subscribe to their channel. They're at 46, 47 subscribers. A diehard Cardinal baseball fan, JJ, who he's a really cool dude, and I've really only talked to him. We messaged each other back and forth a couple times. Vincent's the Cubs fan. I had a chance to talk to him for a few minutes before we went on and did the podcast. So I'm sure that this is probably just their YouTube channel where they put their episodes. I think it's probably on podcast platforms, I assume. But I talked to those guys last night, so my episode will be on with them at some point. It's a lot of fun. Didn't really, when I talk about going on podcasts and it's like I get the same questions, but actually it was a little different this time. We had some different questions, which I like. So, of course, there's always like, what's your genesis, which you have to, especially fly or something in here. You have to do that. And as the person that's asked the question, you just have to, that's no matter how many times you have to do it for your audience. So I get it. But I do enjoy when somebody asks me unique questions that I haven't heard. And sometimes I try to answer it. The genesis of me being a Cubs fan isn't going to change, but I try to come up with something to add each time. It's hard because nothing has changed about the past. So you just have to find little tidbits to add. Let's see where we at. James says he finally sold my Byron Buxton auto. Yeah, the Royce Lewis was selling last night. I had somebody offer me on a Royce Lewis lot of pro debut. I countered it like 50 cents under because it's like, didn't he hit 2 home runs yesterday? I'm like, this is going to sell at full price. So they declined my offer. And then I was just kind of scrolling through my sales overnight, and quite a few. I think somebody's trying to hack my Facebook. So, like, my Facebook got hacked the other day, and I don't know, like, when I see people, it's like, oh, they clicked on a link. I don't click on links. And like Facebook alerted me, and all of a sudden I'm getting like, did you try to log in from Florida, Seattle, California? I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden I tried to log in. They locked my account because somebody was trying to gain access. I had to go through it took me like half the day to get back into my account, which normally it's like, oh, screw it. And then I'm like, oh crap, I do like Facebook advertising and Madison Card Show. I've got to get back on Facebook. I've got a lot of group chats on Facebook. Like, shit, I actually do use Facebook more than I assumed. So I just got a text message from Facebook about 2-factor authentication. It's like, somebody's trying to get into my account. Like, I don't know what they want to do with it. Let's see. Where we at? Corbin Carroll hit a home run last night. Then all of a sudden I have Carroll sales at full price popping off. I love it. I love those playoff pushes. Royce Lewis, Corbin Carroll. You get that little playoff bump. Royce Lewis combo auto. Zach and Porter says, I found those 2 Holmgren and Favre police rookies for a dime each. Sent the Favre to Jenny. Couldn't believe what they come. Me neither. I was going through Goodwill pallet, and I get Packers police cards out the wazoo in these Goodwill pallets. And so normally they're just $1, my new floor price is $1.75. So they're just $1.75 cards, and they go in. But every once in a while it's like, oh, I wonder if this is Aaron Rodgers, what year was his rookie? And then sometimes I'll see like, oh, I wonder if this is worth anything. Usually not. But there was a Mike Holmgren rookie. It even says first season as head coach, 1992. Brett Favre, second season. I'm like, well, these these might be a couple bucks, maybe $3-4. And I look on eBay, comp them out. I'm like, oh crap. There's some listed for like $40, $50. I'm like, whoa. So I think I listed both of them for like 15, which is, I think, underpriced based on the listings that are on eBay. Let's look up 1992 Packers police. And it also depends on, and I don't think there's really, it seems like collectors want various police departments to fill out. It's basically like a rainbow for police, because there's Madison police, there's Ashwaubenon police, there's Amory or Amory. I don't know how you pronounce that one. I think I have some of those. There's, Waukesha, Milwaukee, all of the cities in Wisconsin. So it's funny because there's like a complete set for $45 free shipping, but then there's a Favre listed for $45. There's another set listed for $90. But there's not too many. This set's damaged and it's listed for $40. So there's really not much on there. So I listed mine at 15, and we'll see what type of interest it gets. Shane says, Red Light 34, do you work at a casino? Red Light 34 says, list some more autographed baseballs. Actually, you know what? I have some non-Cubs. I don't know if you're looking for non-Cubs autographed baseballs, but let me dive in today and see what I have for what I have left. I think I listed like the good stuff, but I might have some randoms still left over. Let's see. George says, No Shave November is coming up. You can join me in the beard club then. So basically, I shave like this. I shave. What day did I shave? Like Sunday, and it's Wednesday. Correct? Yes. So this is like 4 days of growth here. So it takes me a month to get 5 o'clock shadow. It's October 4th. If I keep letting it grow, I might actually, once I get some growth going, then it kind of takes off and it's like, damn it, I have to shave. Because it starts then I start touching it. I could probably go most of the month of No Shave November and, it'd be normal. Like I shave like once every 3 weeks anyway. Let's see. Shane says, usually people don't talk about point systems unless they work or have worked in a casino. Only place I've ever heard of a point system. Yeah, I didn't know what he meant by that. I just thought it was like a school, like I know some schools do points on tardy, because I was tardy a lot in high school. We didn't have a point system. I guess you could call it a point system, because once you got 4 tardies, it was a detention. I think my senior year what was my senior year total? It was like 30 tardies for the year, and I had 1 detention. That's when you sweet talk the secretary and it's your friend's mom, things get pushed aside, like my detentions for being tardy. How about them Twinkies? Did the Twins? Yeah, the Twins. Did they win last? I watched a lot of baseball, but I didn't pay attention. It was on in the background. So the Rangers beat the Rays 4-0. Here's your scoreboard update. Rangers beat the Rays 4-0. Twins beat the Blue Jays 3-1. Diamondbacks beat the Brewers 6-3, and Phillies over the Marlins 4-1. So, and who did I say yesterday? Here's my wish list, and probably none of them won yesterday. Rays. So I'm 0-1 on my wish list. I think I said Twins. Okay, so I'm 1-1. I said Brewers 1-2, and I said Marlins 1-3. So my team, see, I'm the kiss of death. The teams I root for never win. So we'll see how today goes. Anyone watch the Astros cheating scandal documentary on PBS? Really? PBS. They'll. I didn't realize they did that. Well, the Bill or what's his name? Ken Burns baseball was on PBS. No, I couldn't find PBS. You could give me $100 if say you have to find PBS on your TV and you have 60 seconds to do it. I'd lose $100. I would not be able to find it. Hall of Fame card collector, good morning. Any eBay news today happening with your store? Yeah, I've listed a ton of stuff. Big sales. Where am I at on sales? Yesterday was a big day. Actually, it wasn't as big as Monday. I had a really big Monday day, but Sunday sucked. Monday was really good. Sunday sucked. Tuesday still did not meet my daily goal. It looked like some of those sales were split into today. So I'm off to a good start today. So I fell just a little shy of my sales goal yesterday. Let's see. There's the link. Hit that circle back. I was on this podcast last night. It was not live. It was recorded. So I don't know when the episode will air. But it's the One Cardinal, One Cub, One Beer podcast. Check it out on YouTube. I'm sure they're on podcast platforms as well. Give them a subscription, because give them a sub. They were at 46 subs this morning. We've got them up to 51. So please give them a sub on YouTube as a thank you for having me on their podcast. Let's see. I caught a little of it talking about the PBS documentary. Sports Collectors Daily Facebook was hacked recently. So was one of my dealers, John. He runs Cards in the Attic here locally, and his Facebook was hacked. He was able to get back in, but they changed like the name of it, and it's like some weird name. So yeah, there's a bunch of Facebook hacking going on. So change your passwords. Don't click links. Be careful on Facebook. Let's see. Mark Marinello says Philly's looking dangerous. Oh yeah, Facebook. Hit up the Hobby Evolution Facebook group. That's another. Yeah, gotta look at the Hobby Evolution Facebook group. Zach says they are underpriced, but you will see a boom on the Favre once his trial starts. Ooh yeah, there you go. Kyle says, good morning. What's happening? Just 6 days until the big 1K. Episode 1000. Uncle Rich is out. See Uncle Rich. There was something that was in the Hobby Evolution Facebook group. I've been Somebody must have got in. I have to log back into my Facebook account. Mother effers. I don't want to go through this again fucking today. I don't know how they're getting into my shit. Anybody else having Facebook issues? Where are we at? Let's see. Red Light says, no, I don't. I ran a crane all day. RS Math might also be Facebook phishing. I've had a Facebook looking messages from fishers saying I have a new login from someplace and to click their fake link if I haven't, which I don't actually click. Yeah, I don't click any of those links. I don't click any links. Because what was happening was I was receiving all of these, like I was getting Facebook alerts on my phone. Like, did you try logging in from Stockton, California? Did you try logging in from Seattle, Washington? Did you try logging in from someplace in Florida? And then when I went to go into my, just like I just did, like I'm always logged in, and there you go. And I get this message. Your account has been locked because there's been too many attempts at logging in. And then I've got to go through all this freaking crap to get in. I don't click links. Shane says, oh, that's super cool. Did not know construction did point system. I've only heard of that in casinos. Brian says everything bad that could happen to the Brewers happened. Just an awful game. Value Box Digger says the Twins won their first playoff game since October 5th, 2004. Finally broke the longest playoff loss drought. Very cool. Run it back. Go Twins. Mark says, I tried no shave November once. Girlfriend put a can of shaving cream and razor on the kitchen table after not shaving for a few days. What I like to do, no shave November, is like get that growth going and then shave like the wildest mustache and then take a picture and then send it to my wife and be like, This is my new look. And then she's like, shave it. Shane says, both that is true, then I need you to root for the Jets this weekend, right? See, it's working for I'm rooting for the Bears, and they're 0-4. Tiger 727, what's happening? Red Light 34 says, I do a lot to YouTube. Can't watch the screen much, just listen. There you go. Zach and Porter out. Thank you. Brian says, set up two-factor authentication. I have it, and it's a pain in the ass. I hate two-factor authentication, but now I know. I'm pretty sure because that's the text I got. I got a text from Facebook. It said, use this code for two-factor authentication. So I guess I can, let's see, secure your login details. And I've changed my password so much that I don't even know what my password is anymore. I've got my email. There was an error fetching your data. Did you send us your ID? No. This wasn't me. Update password. And then it's you don't use anywhere else. Well, shit, I don't know. I don't know what I should use as my password. Let's try this. Oh, I know a good one. Try that one. It says new password is the same as passwords you use. I've never used that password before. Maybe if I just, maybe I do that one. That one worked. Okay, I'm in. Okay, so I'm back in. I'm back in on Facebook. Yeah, so someone's trying to log in. Let us know if it's you. It's not me, you bastards. So there's a post yesterday, Brian Fillmore on Hobby Evolution said, wants to know what type of uptick in sales on average did everyone see from past holiday seasons, which I thought was a good question. And initially when I read that, I'm like, there was no uptick. Until I actually looked at the numbers. There was actually a pretty significant uptick. So this is just last year. September 2,719 sales. October was 2,777 sales. Then we saw the uptick going into November, December. November was 3,784 and then 3,547 sales in December. So John Keating this morning says, does that uptick match your listings total? Which is a great question and something that I didn't look into. Let's see if I can find my spreadsheet here. Here we go. So let's go into, okay, so here's my eBay. So let's see. September, October, November, December. Okay, so is this correct? Yeah, this should be correct. So, okay, September. So it looks like September, we were around, how many listings? Let me make sure what listing total. I need to be adding the, okay, here we go. I need to be updating the columns. Okay, active listings, column F. Okay, so in September, we were around 22,000 active listings. So that's pretty significant. That's more than I thought. So September was around 22,000 active listings. And it varied between, let's see, actually it was between 21 and 22,000 the entire month. So we'll just go on the low end, say 21,000. October, we were between 22,000 and 25,000. So we saw quite an uptick in October. And then in November, we were 26 to 28,000. So not much of an uptick from October to November. And then December, we were between 28,000 and 30,000. So there was a small uptick in listings in those months, not matching the percent increase. If somebody can do the math, 20, that was actually quite a big uptick between the beginning of September and the end of December, but on average, not so much. So there was a There was an increase in listings over that time period, but not a 25% increase month over month. Where we at? Sal Dougie's in the house. Good morning. Kyle says, nothing wrong with a good 80s mustache. See Ditka, Dale Sr., Tom Selleck, serious dudes. Every dad in Chicago has the mustache because they grew up with Mike Ditka, Dale Earnhardt, and Tom Selleck in the 80s. Cooter, most importantly, I am anyone but the Dodgers. After that, I will be pulling for my hobby whisperers Twins. The Twinkies. Raphael, what's happening? Good morning to you. We've got Tracy in the house. What's happening? Yeah, I don't have anything else to talk about. I just want to talk about play. I watched more playoff baseball yesterday than I thought I would watch the entire postseason. Now, was I actually watching it? No, it was on the TV behind me, and I was listing. I did some shipping, do some more shipping today, but tried to get my shipping done in the morning so I could have the TV going and get those listings up while baseball was on in the background. So had the games on. I think I had, there's it. I'm yawning less today than I was tomorrow. Maybe yesterday. Maybe I got some decent sleep last night. But I was the Rangers-Rays game I had on because it was the first game. I don't think I had the Blue Jays Twins game. It might have been a bridge because then I think I turned on. Or wait, no, maybe I did what? I don't remember. But I did turn on the Diamondbacks Brewers game at some point. Maybe it was the 7:00 game, the Marlins Phillies. I didn't have that game on at all. I just had Diamondbacks Brewers and that was it. So yeah, I guess I watched 3 of the 4. Had 3 of the 4 on in the background. So Shane says my mom always tells me that she never met my dad, then Tom Selleck would have been my dad. My mom was the same. My mom loved Tom Selleck. Oh my God, Tom Selleck. Pack Wars, what's happening? Minnesota looked impressive, so they have enough pitching to finish the job. Well, they only need to win. Are these best of 3 or 5? These opening round games. I forget. But the Twins are up. So, well, we're on the wrong day. So who do they got? They got Sonny Gray against Jose Barrios today. And then, so this is only 3-game series. Game 3 if necessary. Interesting. So we'll see. If Sonny Gray gets the job done, they'll move on, survive, and advance. But for the long haul, I don't know. Whatever I think is usually wrong. So postseason. So who's got the Orioles and Astros? So they would meet up with the Astros. That would be a tough matchup. If they can beat the Blue Jays today or advance against the Blue Jays, then they would face the Astros. That's going to be tough for the Twins. That's a tough matchup. Value Box Digger says the Twins have always been eliminated by wild card game because it was 1 game. Now it's 3. They better advance. Dang it. They're 1 game away. 1 game away. Best of 3. Jose Barrios has pitched many games in Target Field. Yeah, that's right. He came up with the Twins. Jose Barrios. Cooter says, are you seeing any trends in the viewership of your morning live streams or videos? Seems like folks are pulling back in their hobby content viewing. Oh, that's a great question. Let's see. My views are actually up on an uptick. My views are actually going up. Watch time is actually going up. Let's see. Where can I go to analytics here? So yeah, my views are actually on a slight uptick. Watch hours also on a slight uptick. Subscriptions are down just a little bit. How can I find, maybe if I go to the other page? Because I actually don't pay too much attention on like total views on my videos. So let's see. So yesterday's video already has 317 views. That's the Monday. Let's see, today. Monday had 334. The Madison Card Show review had 451. Card Show reviews are usually much more watched. The eBay Open had 439. Free for All Friday, which is usually nobody wants to play Name That Player. Fridays are always low on viewership. 314. My 5 steps of the sports card sales process was 616 views. It looks like my total viewership is for the most part up. Let's see. My Bad News Bears was only 300. Happy Hump Day, and a lot of times it's just my title sucks. So Happy Hump Day was 295 views. Weekends are usually pretty down. So yeah, it's actually been on an uptick since my worst thing a seller can do. That one got 835 views a couple weeks ago. So it looks like views are, for the most part, trending slightly up. And it just depends on the title I put out there. If I put like a how to increase your eBay sales, tomorrow's Thursday. We'll put it to the test. Tomorrow I'll do how to increase your eBay sales or something, and it'll be 700 views. Today will probably be 300, just because it's me talking about playoffs. Let's see. Mark Marinello says Yankees didn't make the playoffs, so the Twins had an easier road. Right, yeah, the Yankees always knock the Twins out. Whoever plays the Astros is who America will cheer for. I think that's true. That's true. I think we all want the Astros to lose. I don't like the Astros just because they are the Astros. Pack War says, I was really bummed that the Cubs came up short. However, I picked them to make the playoffs next year with young talent coming up in all positions and pitching areas. I think they win the division. I have no. Somebody asked me, because I had my predictions from the beginning of this season. Like, well, what do you think on next year? I have no idea. I can't make any predictions because we don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to re-sign Cody Bellinger? Will they trade for Pete Alonso? Will they sign a pitcher, relievers? I like what they have. They just need to stay healthy, and they just need endurance, stamina to get through. The Cubs ran out of gas this year. And hopefully that is a building block for next year where they can get through the long season, 162 and hopefully plus. I like the starting rotation. Justin Steele. I think Stroman will be back. There's an option for Kyle Hendricks, so we'll see what he does. I'd like to have him back. And then you've got young starters. Javier Assad looked really good this year. Jordan Wicks looked really good. And then you've got Cade Horton, who will probably be ready at some point. Some people think he's going to break camp with the Chicago Cubs out of spring training. We're going to have some relievers back off injuries. Hopefully some of the relievers that, had down seasons this year can bounce back. And I'm mostly talking some of the younger guys, the minor league guys. And then offensively, there's some holes to fill. I think it'd be nice to get like a solid reliever. It'd be nice maybe to get a starting arm, because arms fall off sometimes. But it would be nice to get a power, like a Pete Alonso type. That'd be really nice. Matt Chapman's going to be a free agent. So it kind of depends on what to do. And you got young talent. It's like, what's the young talent? You can't just say, well, Carl Armstrong's the number one prospect in the Cubs system and top 10 in all of baseball, but that doesn't always translate to the big league level. So it's going to be interesting. I have no idea what they'll do. By the time I'm out watching games in Mesa in March, I'll have a better idea. Good morning, Mark. What's happening? Mark Hoyle's Impossible Dream. Cooter says you were getting 80 or 90 live viewers, but appear to be closer to 50s. Yeah, there was a stretch where we were up in the 90s. That's been a while. Maybe it's the background. People don't like this background. It looks like the total number of viewers hasn't moved, but live viewers. And I wonder if that's also because people are back to work and school. I know I've talked to a lot of people that can't watch live anymore because of their work schedule and their school schedule, because we are back to school. I don't know if like April we had what was our highest? Oh, I had it on my whiteboard. Where's my whiteboard at? Did we ever hit 100? I don't think we ever hit 100 live viewers. I think 99 was our high. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe people are sleeping in like I am. I wonder what people think when they are not regulars here. They see your title and start watching. The next thing they know, they're 20 minutes deep into serial convo. Probably I scare everybody away. Carlo does vintage. Good morning. Why like the Brew Crew? Well, I'm a Cubs fan. I'm rooting for the Brewers. Pack War says Cubs have a little money and a deeper bench. Baseball card curmudgeon, what's going on? They need a little help off the bench. JD Martinez will be available. Well, I think they're going to need to fill in the corner spot. And of course, it all depends on what happens with Cody Bellinger. I don't think the Cubs are going to re-sign him. I think he signs with a team with deeper pockets than the Cubs. Deeper pockets that will spend the money on baseball. I think they definitely fill one of those holes. But I think, let's see. They're going to need at least one starter. Because they can't fill that from within. Even if they re-sign Cody Bellinger, you're going to have a hole at third base. If they re-sign Cody Bellinger, you could move him to first, plug Pete Crow into center. You still got third base that you're going to have to upgrade at that position. Rest of the spots, you got Dansby at short, Nico at second. Bring back Gomes, and you got Amaya. And then your left and right field. So, it's really only one hole, potentially two holes. If Bellinger isn't re-signed, then you're probably going to have to find two holes to fill because we don't have any options at first base. Matt Mervis is not the answer. So they would have to make some moves. Baseball card curmudgeon. I thought you said the Cubs would make the playoffs. They are the Cubs. Did you? Hey, come on, man. It was what? How many years ago? 7? We're only 7 years away from a World Series. 7 years. What my entire life, counting the numbers of years it's been. 100, 101, 102, 103, 108. Finally, streak was snapped. So close to the playoffs. They just ran out of gas. Pack War says, I think you have some West Coast viewers, so it's a little tough to get up this early. It's 5:56 a.m. Yeah. And I'm surprised how many viewers I have that watch on replay. They're like, yeah, I can't watch it live because I'm at work or I'm driving to work or whatever. Donald Davis says, everybody liked seeing Box 13. I know. Where's Box 13? More and more people are making YouTube content. It is a lot out there, but people haven't gained hours to their day. That is true. Although, does it seem like, and maybe it's just me because I'm totally watching less hobby content. And I think that's because I'm just not burned out, but I work with cards all day. And it's like, I don't want to watch content about something I'm constantly doing. I watch a couple different videos here and there, but I've certainly watched less and less hobby content. But I also I think it's the evolution of what we consume. I'm also consuming less wrestling podcasts. That was like the only thing I consumed in terms of content, 3 years ago. I just listened to all the Conrad Thompson podcasts. Now couldn't tell you the last time I listened to a wrestling podcast. So it's not just hobby content that I'm consuming less of. It's just in general. What am I consuming? I had baseball on, playoff baseball, which I didn't expect to. Sometimes I had Maximum Overdrive, the movie. Sometimes I'll listen to music. It's just, sometimes we just get like, I'm tired of it. And we're in that like weird stage of the hobby where we had that rise from 2017. We had that rise in 2017. We had Aaron Judge Mania that summer, which followed up with Shohei Ohtani in 2018. We saw prices shoot through the roof. If you thought they started rising during COVID, they started long 2 years before that. And then we had the COVID boom, and then it's been kind of a boom, for the last going on 4 years, almost 4 years now. We've been in kind of a boom stage in the hobby. So yeah, it's been quite the ride. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. And I think in terms of like the buzz, there's still a lot of buzz around the hobby. It's kind of like with podcasts and hobby content. There's so much out there, kind of like card shows. There's so many card shows out there. Not every card show is going to be a big boom, buzz at every card show. We saw just in the last couple shows I've done that I've been to in person. 3 weeks ago, I was in St. Charles, Illinois on the Sunday of opening kickoff for the NFL, Bears-Packers that day. And I'm like, I went in thinking, oh man, there's going to be no buzz. Everybody's going to stay home because they want to be home to watch all the pregame, be there by noon for the kickoff, blah, 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 blah. Nobody's going to come out to the card show. Was I wrong? It was crazy busy. Insane. I couldn't believe it. 2 weeks ago, we had the Midwest premiere, almost 200 tables down in Rockford. And I'm like, okay, St. Charles was booming. This is going to be an awesome show. I'm going to make a lot of money. And it sucked. There was nobody there. Shouldn't say it sucked. It didn't suck. I got a lot of great deals, but sales were certainly a disappointment. It was a disappointing show. And then the Madison card show, it's like, man, what do we have going on this past weekend? And it was a good show. Was it booming? Was it crazy busy? I wouldn't say so. But there's a lot of people that, I was happy with the crowd. It seemed like there was good buzz. So you never know. This weekend's going to be interesting, especially around here. In southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, we've got the Oak Creek show, which is typically around 175 tables over in Milwaukee. Stevens Point, which is just a couple hours north of here, is also on Saturday. Also this weekend in Schaumburg, which is just a couple hours south, they have a big almost 200 table show also with Justin Fields is signing autographs. They've got a big autograph show in Schaumburg. And then also the Capitol Convention in Des Moines, Iowa, which is, a few hours away, but that attracts a lot of the bigger buyers from this area. So there's going to be, it's like Stretch Armstrong. This weekend's like Stretch Armstrong for card shows in this pocket of the nation because you're stretched. Are you going to Des Moines? Are you going to Schaumburg? Are you going to the smaller shows in Milwaukee or Stevens Point? So you're stretched thin. And I think that's kind of where we're at. We're just kind of stretched thin. It's also, we're getting into like just, I think we're starting to settle in October. for card shows at least, I see a boom in I see an uptick in attendance. And I talk about, somebody was asking me at the show this past weekend about, what should I expect? Somebody was setting up for the first time, I think, and they're like, what should I expect in terms of like shows for moving forward? And I'm like, well, here's how it has worked since I started doing the Madison Card Show in April of, this is what it's been like in the post-COVID boom, beginning in April of 2021. It starts in January. We'll just start it by the calendar. January is like the best show of the year in terms of attendance, buzz. You're in the playoffs for, as far as sports that are impacting, you're in playoff football. You're right in the middle of basketball season, NBA. I don't know, is hockey. I don't know. Nobody does hockey around here. And baseball is you're now at the speculative stage of the baseball season. When do baseball sales really start picking up? January. And then all of a sudden you go into February again, you follow up, and it's boom. March, still up there, but it's slightly here. April, still, but you're starting to see the decline by April. And then May, my shows are typically the end of the month, so I'm Memorial Day weekend, so I'm like, oh, now we have hit summer, and now you're down here. So it's basically like, and then by August, September, August usually is a good show because you've got the speculative period for football, for the NFL. And then you start climbing back up September, October, and then you start climbing back up November, December. You're getting close to where January was. At least that's Madison. That's where we're at in Madison. I know every show is different. Every region is different. But at least in Madison, that's what we see. Typically November, December, January, February, March, April are up here. And then May through September are kind of lower. So we'll start to see I think we'll have a busier show in October. Saturday, we're back on the weekend of Thanksgiving. Last year, my Madison Card Show ran against the Chicago Sports Spectacular, which I always try to avoid. Haven't been able to for many of the shows. So that certainly affects my show. But fortunately I avoid that this year. So yeah, it's interesting. And I think we kind of see the same in consumption of podcasts and YouTube. It's kind of like summer months, and then by winter, we're starting to, it'll be interesting to see where content consumption is as we go into the winter. Each year is different. Each year is different. There's going to be different outside circumstances that affect what we're consuming, why we're consuming it. It'll be interesting to see where we're at this winter as we, it's still like 90 degrees here, which is crazy for the first couple days of October. Hasn't quite hit 90, but it's been in the upper 80s, 87, 88 degrees the last few days. But we're in for a rude awakening. I think today the cold front comes in, and now we're going to be seeing more seasonal temperatures. And, as we go into the winter months, people are spending a lot more time at home, probably going to be consuming a lot more podcasts, YouTube content, all that stuff. So we'll see, is there going to be a big difference in viewership and consumption this winter as opposed to last winter? And I think also with the hobby, there's no doubt we're in a decline phase from where we were in 2020 and 2021. There's no doubt about it. There's no two way. There's a radio guy in Kiwani, Bob McKee. There's no two ways about it. There's no two ways about it that we're in a decline phase. Josh, what's going on? Toronto Blue Jays comeback in pennant. He's throwing it out there. Julio Urias will be available. I don't know. Will he? He won't be playing. He probably won't be playing baseball, and I also don't think he'll be available to play baseball. Grinding for good. Happy hump day. What's going on? Shane says, I wish we had more hours in a day. 36 hours minimum would be great. If we had more hours in a day, I just list and ship more. Well, I'd probably ship more too. if there were more hours in a day. The Value Box Digger says, I can see watching less content. I'm attending less shows because they are now every weekend in Minnesota, and half the weekends a month have 2+ shows. It's just becoming oversaturated. Absolutely. And it's funny to see, and like, every region is different. And it's interesting because 3 years ago, there were like no shows in Minnesota. And it's affecting, and now the oversaturation in Minnesota is, started affecting me a year and a half ago, where I had multiple dealers coming down from Minnesota to set up at the Madison Card Show because there were no shows in Minnesota. There was like one show a month. And now they're oversat. Here, there was, very few shows. And now all of a sudden, the Stevens Point show is new. There's been a couple come and go in other cities around here. They're still popping up here and there. So it's just interesting to see, even in these last 2 years, how much things have changed in terms of, card shows. They're everywhere. The hobby can feel consuming lately, so I can see where you are watching less and less. Just watch Twins now and cheer for them. I will do that. Absolutely. Views on content may be down because people are trying to cram in nice weather stuff before winter hits. I bet everyone sees more views during the winter. Nothing else to do, especially here in the Midwest. Definitely see that. Card shows are like a box of chocolates. That's so true. That's so true. Bargain Boxer is going to Schaumburg on Friday. Let me know. Give me a review on that when you're back, because it's a first-time show. The promoter has done he's a long-time promoter, but it's the first of this kind of, I guess, at least here in the last few years. Too many shows, not enough money, right? Yeah, the more shows the more shows there are, the more stretched Armstrong you're getting, and that also happens to the wallet. Same buyer's not going to go to a show every weekend. You do have buyers that go to shows every weekend, and they're looking to buy. And sometimes, and like I say, if you're set up at a card show as a dealer and you're not making sales and you're not making money, there might be other dealers at the show that is having the same problem, and they just want to make sales. And that's where you get the deals. So go buy, and you can turn that, and it's far more lucrative than what you would have done making sales at the show. Boom in attendance, bust in money. The funny thing about that, though, is I'm making more money at shows than I was during the boom. So what that tells me is there's still money in the room, but it's being stretched, and people aren't buying the shiny chrome slabs. I think they're more so looking at bargain boxes. And I'm getting my numbers for the tax man. Here's my fiscal year just ended. So I'll be running those numbers. So I'll have some numbers. So this is just me speaking anecdotally, but I know what I've made over the last few shows, and it's significantly higher than what I made a year ago at shows. And I have the same stuff for the most part. I just started adding dollar boxes. I think the Rockford show was the first time I had dollar boxes. I had dollar boxes at previous shows, like a year and a half, 2 years ago. But for the most part, over the last year, it's just been quarter boxes and some supplies here and there. But I haven't really sold any supplies the last few shows. So the bargain boxes, I'm making more money out of my bargain boxes. Now, that's going to be a sliver of what's being spent through the room, but that's just from my standpoint, all things being equal, my inventory is roughly the same. I have the same table space that I've had over the last year, but now my sales are doubled. Instead of making 200 to 300, I'm making 600 to 800 in a day at a card show out of quarter boxes. and now some dollar boxes. Now, and that's also, but that $300 additional is also very small when you add up all the money that's in a room. So I do understand that, but that's just one, it'd be interesting to see what other regular dealers are doing that sell similar stuff. Are they seeing an uptick like I have over the last year? Let's see. Value Box Digger agrees with the bargain box, or it used to be more. It used to be for me to save up for 2 to 3 months for the next show. Now it's every weekend. I don't have enough time to save between shows to spend on shows. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. 12 extra listing hours would be lovely, right? And then we'd get 36 hours in a day. And then it's like, man, I've spent all this extra time listing. Now I've got all this stuff to ship. Now we need 48 hours in a day. You get to 48, you need 60, 100. Value Box Digger says, apparently there was a big 1,000 table show in Boston the first weekend or 2nd of November. A dealer here said he's going there. Wow. 1,000 table show. Would that be the largest show outside the National? Because what's Dallas up to? About 700 tables in Dallas. And I think that's probably the largest. 1,000 tables. And hopefully it's not. And here's another thing that I saw about shows. There's that big show in Peoria, Illinois, coming up in a couple weeks. Initially, it was advertised as 300 plus tables. I just saw an advertisement this week. Now they're advertising 100 plus tables. So that's a pretty steep decline in expected tables. And hopefully, and what I hope doesn't happen is I hope people don't see that initial flyer that says 300 plus tables going in expecting, especially dealers, that there's going to be 300 plus tables and there's only 90 tables or 100 tables. And they're like, you just false advertised. And because that's happened recently. I think there was a show somewhere east of here. I'm not going to name a state, but I think I know the state, but it was east of the Mississippi. And this was a couple months ago where it was advertised as like 500 tables and there wasn't even 200. And I know a couple dealers that left. They're like, you can't advertise 500 tables and not even have 200. So I hope that doesn't happen. Do you think your eBay store helps your card shows? And on the flip side, the card shows help your eBay store 100%. And YouTube, and Twitter, and just the synergy. I hate buzzwords, but just used one there. It's just all of the above. And you can cross promote. I take Hobby Evolution business cards to the card shows, Madison card show business cards to the other card shows I do. And people will say, they'll pick it up. They'll start watching, maybe they'll see Madison card show review. Hey, I was at that show. I want to see. And then they're like, I'm going to check out his other videos. And then they may see my eBay store. Oh, I'm going to go shop. And then, people that are looking for a Derek Jeter baseball card, come buy this Allen and Ginter out of my eBay store. And I send them a Hobby Evolution. And they're like, hey, and I get a lot of eBay messages. Hey, I started watching your YouTube videos. And it's just kind of people come watch my YouTube content. They see my eBay store. They go to the eBay store. So it's just this, Twitter, cross promote on Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter that much. I've been listing and shipping and listing. I need to get back on Twitter and tweet some stuff. So yeah, it absolutely, everything helps. It's all, when I worked in sales, it's called a touch. At least that's, I think each, depending on who is the sales teacher, leader, manager, whatever, we call those touches. Every touch is going to help, maybe not directly, but indirectly. It puts you on the radar, at least. May not lead to a direct sale, may not lead to a sale ever, but at least it's, it's some type of marketing and, this person may not be a buyer, but they're like, they may have a conversation next week. Be like, oh, hey, I know a guy. Pass your name along. Donald's going to try to be at the card show in Peoria. I was initially thinking, I think that's the weekend of the Janesville show. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do Janesville on Sunday, October 22nd. So I was going to drive down there, but now it's 100 tables. You know, I've got 125 at Madison every month. Oak Creek's 180, 175, 180 tables. You know, probably see some of the same people, might see some different. Like, do I want to drive 3 hours for 100 tables? I don't. Carlo Does Vintage says the 1,000 table show is the Shriners in Wilmington, Massachusetts. Greater Boston Sports Collectors Show. Flippin' fantastic show. Very cool. Very cool. Bargain Boxer is going to be in Peoria. Let's see. It's enormous Shriner show, but 1,000 tables needs fact check. Shriner show has about 300 tables. The building wouldn't hold much more. Okay. November 3rd through the 5th are the dates. Okay. So there you go. All righty. Well, we're over an hour in. I'm going to wrap things up. I'm going to go do some shipping. Hit up my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Link in the description. Buy 7 or more cards at regular price, and you'll receive 25% off at checkout. I added almost 1,000 new items to my eBay store yesterday. Football singles, baseball singles. There's autographs. There's prospects. There's Simpsons cards. I added a Tom Brady numbered out of, it's a select prism. Ooh, it's shiny. Shiny Tom Brady numbered out of 199. That's in my eBay store. Check it out. Buy 7 or more, get 25% off. So hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning. We'll do something. We'll do a clickbaity title to enhance viewership tomorrow. eBay sales is always a good trigger. So see you tomorrow, 7 a.m., maybe 7:15 if I sleep in. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.